Hey everyone, so today we're going to be installing this LED security light from Costco. We've got an old one in the backyard, doesn't work very well, keeps shutting off and overheating, and I don't know what's going on with it. So picked this up at Costco the other day. There weren't very many left, so I don't know if they're going to be restocking this or not. But they had another one there with a camera on it. I mean, that's a little too fancy for what I need. I just need something with motion sensing and just a bright light, and this seems to fit the bill. So let's open her up and see what it comes with. Pretty standard light. Change the orientation of each one of these. One thing I'm not too happy about, this housing is all plastic. I don't know how well that will hold up in the sun and in the bitter cold we get up here. Looks like you can tighten that. Alright, well, it's got different settings on the bottom here. I guess that's sensitivity, brightness, I would guess, and how long it stays on. And it seems like everything except the back for these lights is plastic. These seem to be aluminum. And these little brackets here are plastic. This is plastic. This whole thing here is plastic. Alright, well, let's go get the old one out and let's get this one installed and see if this one works a little bit better. It's an interesting way to install this. It looks like this plate goes over the electrical box. You wire these up and that sits inside the box. And then you just plug, it's got these little prongs here, and I guess you just pretty much just plug it in onto the wall, and then you tighten this screw here to that plate. That's kind of nice. You don't have to try to juggle holding this thing up, and then, you know, sometimes they come with screws on the side. That's kind of neat. Let's see how that works out. There's these little screw covers in here that have basically become one with this unit, and I cannot get them out of there, so I'm gonna just drill them out real quick. And I also think I know why this light went bad. If you look here, some water dripping out. That's not good. It's not even, there's a gap here. I think water's been getting in there. I'm sure wires are getting corroded. So I think I found a problem. Alright, so you can tell there's been a lot of water in here, and there's a good gap between the electrical box and the plywood. So I'm going to just get some of this squeeze tube caulking and just seal up all around here, and then we'll get the new box in. Now let me show you the problem here. this box has like these little tabs that go are surface mounted to the siding. So whenever I place this over this, they protrude out. There's a gap at the top and the bottom. So I might just Dremel these off, use these other holes to mount this bracket, and then it'll be flush to the siding, and then we can get a better seal on it. Let's do that real quick. Take a look what I did. Just chopped off the top edge of this metal lip here for this utility box. It used to look like that. Just rounded it off a little bit. Try to do this one-handed. And now it fits perfectly flush. Much better. Let's get this thing mounted again. I'll maybe get some more caulking, recock that. Alright, I had to remount this bracket using these other holes because the screw on the top was getting in the way and I could not get this flush. So I remounted it using the other holes and it's working out better. Put a beater around the top so any water gets through the top, at least it'll drain around the sides. I don't know if you could see that. There's like a little retention nut in there, and I don't think it's as tight as it should be. I'm gonna see if I can find a socket to tighten that up a little more. Alright, so that was a 5/16 nut on there, and I just took it off of there. See if that works better. Alright. 7 minutes, let's do 3. Extra bright. Not so sensitive. Oh, can't forget the important part. Gotta put that nub in there. Of course. All right, we'll wait for nightfall. We'll see how this thing works. Let's go test it out now. All right, well, it turns on now. We'll wait for nightfall and we'll see how bright that is compared to the old one. All right, so yeah, the new one is definitely a lot brighter, and can't really complain. And it's easy to understand that when you start looking at the stats of these. You know, this one's got three banks of LEDs on it. This one's only got two, and then if you look at the size of these LEDs, they're tiny. And I found a date on here. This thing is over 10 years old, and you could definitely tell where the problems were. I mean, if you look at, there's some wires that are wire netted together from the factory and taped, and that's starting to come apart. And there's water in here, and these are all wet. So this thing is definitely beyond its prime. Lots of rust in here all over. Still water in here, actually. It's still wet. Still wet. This one's output 25 watts, and this one from Costco is, you know, just a little bit more, but it is definitely more. And when you're talking about LEDs, a little bit goes a long way. So yeah, much brighter. So far so good. We'll see how long that plastic holds up. This one's metal. Everything, this housing is metal. The backs of these are metal. Can't tell what these are. These might be plastic actually. These little arms on it. But you know, this thing lasted 10 years. So hopefully I can get 10 years out of this thing. We'll see. All right. Well, till the next one.